Good morning and welcome to AardvarkJoke. Mr. Peterson, how are you? What have you been up to this week?
Hello, I've been distilling water.
And this week, the joke we're going to try and, topic area we're try and write a joke on is we're going slightly more, not political or controversial, but slightly more current than we've perhaps done on some of these things, even though we have obviously touched on current events before. We're going for the defund the police angle. Now, I was slightly annoyed about the inspiration for this joke because normally one of the easiest ways I find of trying to find, even if you're not writing a joke, just trying to find something funny, is to assume that absolutely everything is a conspiracy theory.
Yeah,
just sense. Because it's quite a good way of forcing yourself to look at a situation from sort of an unusual angle, or potentially even the opposite angle, a complete 180, to try and find what's funny. Plus, of course, inevitably with conspiracy theories, while they are never entirely true and not even mostly true, there's always some element of truth about it, simply because in general, at some point, someone has gone, this large organization which may or may not be failing, I should try and make some profit off of them. There's no shortage of people trying to make profit at some point. And what I saw was that there's a story with a defund the police movement where, I don't know where it was, this is going to sound so vague, but it was somewhere in America, which I appreciate is several million acres.
I've heard of that place.
Yes, it's quite well known.
You just go to Canada and take a left, don't you?
Or Mexico and take a right, obviously.
Yeah.
But
if you reach Russia, you've gone too far.
Yeah, but then you just carry on going round because obviously, the Earth's flat, so you keep getting back to where you started.
Exactly, yeah.
But
and at some point, the graphics end up they can't render the graphics anymore, so you actually just get forced back the other way.
Yeah. But there was a US city where they defunded the police, but then it was either like the mayor or town crier or some sort of civic official. Let's say it was the mayor. The mayor's personal security budget had gone up by something like 3 million. So the mayor had hired himself plenty of other security guards. And it annoyed me that I hadn't thought to try and take a conspiratorial or conspiracy theorist view of a situation before I read that story. But it basically got me thinking, and there's definitely some comedy in here. What, irrelevant to whether the defund the police movement is entirely justified or unjustified, or there's lots of evidence behind it, all that stuff. Let's just try and rip it apart. Who are the people who would, in a comedy world, want to defund the police? So my initial thoughts were two. Number one was the fire department. Obviously, there's always a historical disagreement between firefighters and police, just like doctors and dentists. So my assumption being that Fireman Sam's on the front line shouting defund the police so that he can go to the city council the next week and go, I've just seen there's a big lot of extra funding going on. I mean, we could do with some new fire engines and some better quality water. I guess now that you found a savings in the police department, I guess it could be funneled towards us. So that was one. And then the other was sort of security companies or kind of all that kind of, I don't know if military companies is kind of a right terminology, but not necessarily British Aerospace, those kind of companies, but maybe sort of G4S for people who would be employing far more security guards, but just a kind of classic approach of never let a crisis go to waste. Or they're obviously someone like their CEO, Mr. Ashley Almanza, is on the front line being like, defund the police. And then 6 weeks later, when crime's gone up, good news, the city council, I've got a solution to sell you. Those were my kind of two initial thoughts.
I guess other suggestions, people who would enjoy defunding the police, brick suppliers, both for A, lobbing to supply people to lob through windows, and B, for people to rebuild the buildings with after they were burnt down. See also chipboard suppliers for painting over windows, and metal bar suppliers.
So this is either big masonry or just DFS in general.
Big DIY, absolutely would. Big building trade limited, PLC, would definitely be some people that would want to also defund the police.
All exceptional points. The other angle I was considering with this kind of joke is that, again, not that we're trying to get deep into politics on the podcast.
No, we're very light in politics.
Actively trying to avoid it.
Yes, we're like helium to the tungsten that is politics.
Indeed. If obviously you don't understand chemistry, imagine that we're both the North Pole of a magnet just pushing each other apart. It's a more physics-based analogy. But anyway, the other thing I was thinking of is that...
And if you don't understand chemistry or physics, do we have a biology version?
Oil and water, algae and water, they sort of live in each other. They never really...
Politics is an electricity Pokemon and we're a water Pokemon.
Excellent.
Is that right?
I'm not sure. One is super effective against the other. Anyway, the point I was going to make is that Defund the Police, nominally a left-leaning organisation, but fundamentally what they want to do is reduce funding to a government organisation, which is traditionally seen as kind of a right-wing movement. So I wonder if a person who started Defund the Police is then going to move on to, defund for county council, defund the bus service, defund the forestry commission. Just defund any kind of public sector organisation, because the private sector will just sweep in and sort it all out in the
Beavers
market.
Would be very keen. Beavers would be very keen on defunding the forestry commission. Just to clarify, the animal, not the young scouts.
Yeah, because they wouldn't be able to get their tree management badge level 3. I can't remember how beavers and scouts.
There might be a beating up beavers badge though. Or being a beaver badge where you just literally just knock down a tree. So actually, maybe the young scouts could be pro.
It's a long time since you went to scouts or I went to beavers and cubs. If I'm honest with you, but there's no guarantee that they still have the same books. I assume they've still got the classics like reading and using a map and compass, but environmental issues might be quite pressing. But yeah, anyway, we're getting distracted again. Those were the kind of topic areas I thought for the kind of most ridiculous people who might want to defund the police essentially for complete personal benefit.
I've thought of a dark twist on who might also want to defund the police, but also other organisations. Big Funeral.
Okay, yeah, that's pretty good. Wow.
Yeah. See also other ideas to defund the NHS and the lifeboats.
Yep. Again, all of those are unfortunately logically consistent.
But there's not a lot of comedy in that, so let's not go down.
It's quite dark. I mean, it depends. Equally, I might need to have those in the back pocket because you never quite know how the audience is going to react.
Yeah,
I have done a show once and accused of being too soft, having a soft opener. So actually, that'd be quite a good one. So if I open with something which is deemed soft by the people at the front who I can hear, when I bust out, well, guess who wants to defund the police? It might balance it out. So that might be quite a good one to have in the back pocket for any time on stage.
I thought of one, but then I've since realised is actually, you see, initially you think like big weight loss and big fast food would want to defund each other, but they have an asymbiotic relationship. So I mean, they both want to fund the other.
Yeah, that's like big dentistry and big lollipops. They're both big shareholders in the other.
I reckon also non-organic food producers really want to defund big farm shop.
That's a very good point, especially because they'll be sitting there seething at the irony, but big farm shop often labels itself as small independent farm shop.
Yeah, but it's all a cartel, isn't
it? Yeah. They're bringing the wheat and chickens in from Colombia or something. Smuggled it in past Border Patrol. I'll take the point, actually, but in terms of expanding the joke, the general everything's a conspiracy theory, probably quite a good secondary one just to potentially move from one and roll into the other. I do like that.
Rolling. From one joke to the other, seamless, a trademark of the edging stand-up set.
The other one I did wonder for the defunding the police was whether it's just disgruntled police employees who are caught in some sort of, pension trap and just trying to get out early.
Yeah, good plan. Good plan. Want the payoff.
Yeah, or I don't know how it works with the police completely, but I had a mate who joined the police and he had some sort of, like return on training or whatever the appropriate term is for different things. Essentially, we spent, I don't know how long it is, but I think it was something like 6 months normally in the UK. I assume it's broadly similar in most Western countries. But, I I think he had to do 2 years for the point at which he finished training before he was allowed to leave. I can't remember the exact details, but that sort of system, I think plenty of militaries have a similar system as well, just because of the cost of training. I mean, airline pilots have a similar thing. Work for us for 5 to 10 years, or you've got to pay back the cost of your training, which...
So basically what we're saying is there might have been some people who are actually quite pro-police, but really wanted out for their own financial gain.
It's just an inside job. It was the ultimate inside job. It's big police.
Big police, yeah.
Or as we now have to call them, medium-sized police.
Yeah, so I guess there's many angles you can take in this. I guess I do quite like the doubling down on the conspiracy theory angle, or alternative other people who want to defund things.
I think big fire, or firemen in general, is big anti-fire, needs to be in there.
Yeah.
Put an asterisk on that one.
Yeah. Obviously, the joke will be on us when they don't come and save us from a burning building.
When we're getting specifically targeted on Twitter by I assume that it'll be one of those things where the official fire department Twitter won't be allowed to engage in, essentially sending online threats, but there'll be some sort of like associated like former firefighters union or firefighters support kind of charities, or that kind of situation. We'll have the freedom to go at AardvarkJoke, you are wrong. And
I just like to point out that I think the fire service are great and they do an amazing job.
That's a very good
probably
point.
are underpaid and undervalued.
That's almost certainly true. But hopefully they're paid well enough to attend the show and heckle, because at least that way it's a sellout crowd. So
you've always got to think of the tickets. Yeah.
Oh yes, it's all about show business. The show must go
exactly. Just some meta, I might try and infiltrate a firefighters union and send them towards this podcast and be like, do you hear what this prick is saying about you?
I mean, it'd be a novel idea to try and get some listeners. We'll see if it works out.
Yeah, just go full meta for the podcast, and sort of 5 years later, I'm Chief Firefighter Peterson.
Indeed. Cool. I think my personal theory is big fire.
Yeah.
And then big security.
What about big cats? But by big cats, I mean big domesticated cats. Because if the police are defunded and more funding then goes to the firefighters, then more cats can be rescued from trees.
Or if there's less police, big guard dog will have an increased customer base because more people want a guard dog.
And then that's bad for big little cat.
But for big dog, it will push the prices up.
Yeah.
So stonks will be going up on the price of large dogs.
And big dog food will be having a field day.
Yeah. Yeah, pedigree chum.
Really, I think what we've established so far is a lot of people can make a lot of money on the breakdown of society.
Do you see why I say the conspiracy theorist thing is generally quite a good avenue for most types of comedy? Because there's a lot that you can draw some sort of logically consistent line from it, even if the underlying logic is ropey, isn't it?
The beautiful irony of the whole thing, of course, is although all these people will be making money on the breakdown of society, the money that they'll be making will be worthless.
Or will get stolen because there's no police and they'll get burgled.
That's surely got to go in the joke.
I think that's the punchline.
Yeah.
Whoever benefits, it's obviously a fool's errand.
Yes.
Burglary will get them.
Big burglary will get them. I think you've probably got enough here to...
I think this might be one of the shorter episodes, which may or may not be directly correlated to the prep time.
Yeah. I'd say delve into your special joke place now.
Right, joke writing time. Be right back. It's joke time.
About 4.5 hours later.
The news has been relatively busy in 2021 with stories of the defund the police movement. Like a lot of people, when wondering who could be behind such a movement, I instantly thought the fire service. Less funding for the fire service. So less funding for the popo means far more funding available for big fire, new hoses, new water, and the fastest trucks in the land. Call me a conspiracy theorist, but I thought other potential motivating factors in defunding the police might include security companies like G4S, a minor or small or massive spike in crime certainly generate quite a large market for private security, which would be of no financial benefit to them at all. That, or it's the classic lunatic, absurd right-wingers just thinking, yes, small government. 2021, defund the police. 2022, defund the council. 2024, defund the forestry commission. 2025, defund the government. 2026, there is no government. Obviously, it's a little bit of a risk because whoever does make profit off of this from the increase in crime due to lack of police will obviously have to keep all the money quite safe, because otherwise it's going to be stolen by big burglary, making it slightly a pointless endeavour.
Bravo. Very good.
Thank you very much. That was Aardvark Joke episode 9, as we get spicier and spicier.
Oh,
Mr. Peterson, any closing remarks?
getting close to double figures.
Getting close to double figures. We're not far away now from that 52 episode merch giveaway.
Right,
50?
yeah.
It was approximately a year, wasn't it? So that's good. Mr. Peterson, thank you very much for joining me, and we'll see you again next time.